Right. So here, what is a market? I think you know what is a market. Market is a place or space. It may be a place, it may be a space. Why? Because previously it was a place. Now there are online markets. So there should not be. The place is not necessary. It becomes space now. So we identify market is a place or a space where where transaction is performed. Transaction is happened between buyers and sellers, right? So a market is a place or a space where transaction is happen between buyers and sellers. Why we study market? Puta, market is come from the market economy, right? Because still we are in the middle of the market economy, right? What is a market economy? I taught you later, but if you couldn't watch the initial videos, I recommend you to watch the videos just after the session, because that knowledge is required for you to continue onward this session, right? So here in market economy, market is a main element, right? Because buyers and sellers are there. Place or a space where transaction is happen between buyers and sellers. That is the market. So initially we can identify two types of market. Types of market. There are two types. First one, goods and service market. It is familiar to us, right? ඒක අපිට දැකලා පුරුදුයි. When it comes to weekly market, weekly fair, when it comes to Cargill's Food City, Keels, right, Abans, those are the market types that we have seen. We seen them day to day life, right? So in those markets, we can see goods and services are being transferred between buyers and sellers. So that is familiar to us. Actually, why it is familiar to us? Because we are the buyers, because we are the household who purchase goods and service from producers. We are the household who purchase goods and services from producers. අපි තමයි ඒකේ purchase කරන්නේ. That's why we know them significantly. We have clear idea about those markets. What are the goods that they sell? Abans sell electronic products. And weekly fair, that mean සතිපොළ කියලා කියන්නේ ඔය දෙල් කඳ තියෙනවා පොළ. ආපහු බෝකුන්දර ඔගොල්ලෝ ගෙවල් පැත්තෙත් ඇති. Right? Wheat, paddy, rice, vegetable, fruits, right? Those products are being sold on that market, right? So here, producers are the person who sell the product. Producers are the person who sold their product in the market to us. We are the buyers. Householders are the buyers, and producers are the sellers of this market. Maybe Abans, maybe whatever the small scale producer, right? If it was PNS Bakers, so PNS is the producer who sell the product. And we, what do? We purchase the product, right? So that is goods and service market. That is familiar to us. What else they have? They have so many types of goods and services. As an example, cake. PNS Bakery, they sold cake, right? And if it is a hardware, sand, cement would be there, right? Or we will take another thing, pen, right? Atlas will sell pen, books, pot vikunanawa, pan vikunanawa, right? And Abbas will sell TVs or laptops, right? Whatever the products that they sold, we will purchase, right? So that is the goods and service market, which is familiar to us. What we need to keep in mind, only in the goods and service market, we are the householders are the buyers and producers are the sellers, right? That is about goods and service market, because this is not business studies, since they are not asking what is the market or what are the transactions in market. They are not asking that, right? So just you have to keep in mind, here sellers are the producers and householders are the buyers. That's it. When it comes to factor market the other types are, I forgot you to tell here. First one is goods and service market, and the second market type is factor market, right? What's a factor market mean? Factors, they sell production factors, right? So what are the markets that sell production factors? What types of product they sell? First one, land and labor, capital and entrepreneurship. Here I will erase the entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurships are not for sale, right? It is a skill the owner will possess, right? So here, land, there are land market, right? There are land market. If you have seen, this land is for rent, this land is for sale. So that is the land market, right? So we can see, even though we do not get clear idea about that, and we do not much concern about that. අපි ඒ ගැන ලොකුවට හිතන්නේ නැහැ නේ ළමයි. Right? ඒක නිකන් අර ලෑන්ඩ් එකක් කියන එක දැක්කම අපිට එච්චර අයිඩියා එකක් ඉන්නේ නැහැ. වුණාට දැන් ඔයා දන්නවා අන්න ලෑන්ඩ් එකක් සෙල් කරලා තියෙනවා, නැත්නම් ලෑන්ඩ් එකක් සෙල් කරන්න තියෙනවා. So that is a land market, right? Prime land. And actually those producers sell land and capital both. Land විතරක් නෙමෙයි ළමයි, because land විතරක් sell කරන්නේ නැහැ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. Land and capital both තමයි එකතු වෙන්නේ එතන, right? Prime land, homeland, right? So those are land and capital market. And capital market we can see separately in hardwares. Actually, that's why I erase the hardwares from goods and service market. In hardwares, there are goods as well. But most of the time, hardware will sell capital, right? Cement, right? Or chip gal and sand, right? And whatever the bathroom equipment. Those can be identified as good as well as factor. හරිද? එතකොට ඔන්න factor market එක, right? Land and capital being sold in mainly by producers, right? But initially, we'll take this one. We'll erase this, and initially, for the land, we can identify the land is belong to whom. If we say that land which is owned by the Cargills, right? ඔය Cargills එක conduct කරන land එක තියෙනවා. දැන් ගොඩාක් Cargills ඒවා කාගෙන් හරි rent එකට ගත්තුවා. හරිද? කාගෙන් හරි rent එකට අරගෙන තියාගෙන යන. එතකොට ඒවා වටෙන් ගිහිල්ලා බැලුවොත් තමයි කාට හරි householder කෙනෙක්ට තමයි අයිති. right? Most of the time දැන් ඕගොල්ලන්ගෙත් සමහර විට ඇති කඩයක් නැත්නම් land එකක් කාට හරි rent කරලා ඒකෙන් income එකක් monthly rent income එකක් ගන්න. Right? So that is the land market. Labor market. Labor market means we are working on somewhere else, right? We are working in somewhere else. So we provide labor. Instead of that, we get received salary. අපිට හම්බෙනවා salary එකක් අපි විකුණන laborers ලට. එහෙනම් ළමයි land අපි විකුණනවා land rent එකට දෙනවා. householders ලට අයිති land එක අපි rent කරනවා. householders ලට අයිති labor අපි job එකක් කරනවා. job කරද්දී අපි ඒක sell කරනවා. capital initially our savings, but keep in mind savings is not under capital. Any monetary value, any monetary item, any monetary asset in economics we do not consider under capital. But anyhow, for this example I use monetary values, but still you need to remember any monetary asset is not under capital, right? So here capital, if we earn an income and then we invest them in a bank, and then what will happen? The bankers will lend those money to business owners to start new business, to purchase capital, right? So under that, householders are the initial stage of the creating capital. What do households do? They save money. They save money and they bank it. After that, bankers will lend them to deficit parties or business to purchase capital. So capital also start from the households. And here labor is belong to household. That rented property that you have, if you have a land in urban area, you can rent it for ආපිකෝ කීල්ස් එකට දෙන්න පුළුවන්, කා ගීල්ස් එකට දෙන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් මොකක් හරි බිස්නස් එකකට apartment එකක් හදලා rent කරන්න පුළුවන්. So you have so many options from that scarce resources. So ultimately in the factor market, right, ultimately these factors are belong to households. These factors are belong to whom? These factors are belongs to households. Household own the factors. Household own the land which was rented. Household own the labor, right? Household own the capital initially, right? Not entrepreneurship, but still entrepreneurs are the businessmen who is belong to whatever the household, right? Dhammika Perera කියන්නෙත් ගෙදරකින් එළියට එන මිනිස්සෙක්. So he is a good entrepreneur and he is a part of household. So keep in mind lamai, land, labor, capital, all the things originate from the household. Household වලින් තමයි මේවා create වෙන්නේ. Right? And then they will sell. Householders would be the seller in here. Householders ලට අයිති නම් එයාලා තමයි මේවා sell කරන්නේ. Those are the sellers. And who will purchase them? කවුද මේවා purchase කරන්නේ? මේවා purchase කරන්නේ පුතේ business firms. Business firms. The land was rented by Cargills. Cargills. Cargills was the business firm, right? And then let's say our father, mother and you, ඔයගලන්ට familiar, අම්මා වැඩ කරන්නේ මෙහි, තාත්තා වැඩ කරන්නේ මෙහි. එහෙම කියනවනේ. අපේ තාත්තා වැඩ කරන්නේ අපි හිතමු ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශය. එහෙම කියන. අපේ තාත්තා පොලිසියේ. අපේ තාත්තා production manager Melbourne එකේ. ළමයි කොහේ හරි business එකක තමයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. So business firms are the element who purchase our factors. So in factor market, seller would be household. Seller would be household. Household will be the seller. අපි තමයි විකුණන්නේ. Purchasers. Who are the purchasers? කවුද ඒවා මිලදී ගන්නේ? Purchaser or buyer. Buyer is the business firm. Buyer is the business firm, right? So here in goods and service market, producer was who? Producer was the seller, right? Producer or business firms. We'll take business firms. Business firms or the producer is the seller. And householders become the buyers because we purchase goods and services. But when it comes to factor markets, those two elements will be switch. Then දෙපැත්තට මාරු. Factor market එකේ and අපි තමයි sell කරන්නේ. Factor market එකේ අපි තමයි sell කරන්නේ. Right? Householders are sellers. And who purchase? Purchase or buy by the business firms. Right? By the business firm. So that is the thing you need to identify. Right? So we'll move to the note. Here. What is a market? I think it was given. You don't have to write. We'll read. We'll read. Market is any form of situation that allow. Market is any form of situation that allow buyers and sellers of a specific good or service to interact in order to facilitate an exchange. Or in simple terms, you can identify it is a place or space where transaction is happen between buyers and sellers, right? According to your preference, go for a easiest definition, right? ලොකු definitions මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. පොඩි එකක් මතක තියාගන්න. හැබැයි technical words, right? හැම වෙලෙම technical words ටික අමතක කරන්න එපා. Right here. Market is any form of situation that allows buyers and sellers of a specific good or services interact in order to facilitate an exchange. Maybe a place or a space. As example, weekly fair, සතිපොළ, right? ගෙවල් ගාව තියෙන market එක මේකට අයිති. And then markets created through internet, online markets, Amazon, Alibaba, right? eBay, Kapruka, those can be taken. Then markets created through telephone. Previously, telebanking, telemarketing was there, but now it is gone, right? Right. That is for the market, right? There are two main markets operate in an economy. Markets ජාති දෙකක් තියෙනවා. First one, goods market. මම හිතන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට එතන blank එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ලියා ගන්න, දාගන්න goods market and factor market. Those are the two types of markets. Right, then goods market. What's a good market? This includes both goods and service. This is the market where quantity sold and price at the quantity. Quantity and price are being selected. Right. This is the market where quantity sold and price at that quantity is sold decided based on demand and supply. Right? So that means producers or here business firms, business firm, they do what? They sell the product. So we call supply. Buyers purchase කරන අය තමයි demand කරන්නේ. We household demand the product. So actually with the contribution of supply and demand, it creates market price and quantity. Price and quantity created by suppliers and buyers. Right. For a particular good. In this market, demand is created by household. In this market, Demand is created by households and supply is created by business firms. Right? So that need to be identified, right? Keep in mind. Then factor market, right? Factor market is the market which sells land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Those are the production factors. This is the market where factor prices making තමයි factors වල price එක. දැන් කලින් market එකකින් goods and service price එකයි goods and service quantity එකයි determine වුණා. Right? In the goods and service market, they identified price of goods and service and what are the exchange quantities between householders and firms. It was determined by goods and service market because sellers creates a supply force, buyers creates a demand force. By the collectivity of demand and supply, market price and quantity was determined. And then factor market. As an example, we can identify අපිට family එකක් ගමු. Seller is the, let's say seller is labor. අපි job එකක් කරන්න යනවා. Right? අපි හැමෝටම idea එකක් තියෙනවා in the future that we are going to do a job. So we are looking for the prices of job. අපි බලනවා මොන jobs වලටද වැඩි price එකක් හම්බෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද? What is the price of job? It is the wage or salary. Wage or salary is the price, right? So there are some factors which are common. Common factors are there. Common factors. Who? Machine operator. Machine operators are common. Or drivers. We'll take drivers. Drivers. Right? So they actually, since they are common, their salary is comparatively low. Right? Their salary is comparatively low. Low salary. Engineers, comparatively, engineers, chartered accountants, which you can become on one day, right? One day you can become a chartered accountant by following commerce stream. If someone is doing mathematics, they can become engineers. Doctors, they are comparatively rare. Rare. So they have higher salary. Higher salary. Right? So this is the market. Factor market is the market which determine quantity of factors. Labor quantity. This is the market which determine labor quantity. And labor salary. Labor salary. Labor price mean salary. Right. So here, this is the market where factor price and employment level. Factor price and employment level. Quantity of labor mean employment level. Right. This is the factor quantity. Right? Working factor quantity. Or utilizing. Utilizing factor quantity means employment level. Right? So this is the market where factor prices and employment level is decided based on the demand and supply for a particular factor of production. In this market, demand is created by business firms. Supply is created by household. Right? I think you have to write that down. Yes, you have to write down. In this market, demand is created by business firms and supply is created by household. Then next topic is interest one. It is the price mechanism, or we call price system. Right? We'll see. What is price? Now we know what is the price. Because here market price was selected based on what? Demand and supply. Right? Here demand, here supply. Supply and demand created the price and market quantity. Right? Supply and demand created price and selling quantity. So this price, what is this price? We are going to study this price mechanism. And here also factor price was selected. Labor quantity and labor price. Not only labor, if the factor was land, price, we call the price is rent. Land වල price එක තමයි rent එක කියලා කියන්නේ. ඔයා land එකක් දුන්නොත් ඔයාට rent එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. labor price එක තමයි salary එක කියලා කියන්නේ. Or wage. Then capital වල price එක තමයි interest එක කියලා කියන්නේ. Right? If you create capital, you can receive an interest. Then entrepreneurship, it's not in the factor market. Anyway, it has a price. Entrepreneurship, that is businessman, skills of the businessman. Entrepreneurship, the factor price of entrepreneurship is profit. So those are the prices, right? Initially, what we identified as price is goods and service prices. Here, this one. This is the initially we call price. Abhi price එක කියලා අඳුනගන්න වෙන්න මේක. Market price. Right? So we'll see. Price mechanism. In a market economy, coordinating mechanism that combines decisions of different economic agents Right here, who are the different economic agents? Household and business firms. Household and business firms. The market price will combine household and business firms decisions and create a price. මොනාහරි මොකකාරි price එක කියලා කියන්නේ මම විකුණන්න agree වන. Right? I'm agreeing to sell that. And also buyer is agreeing to purchase. මම ගිහිල්ලා හිතන්න මම consumer නම් මම ගිහිල්ලා මං අහන මුදලාලි මේ t-shirt එක කීයද? How much is this one? So මුදලාලි will say this is 2,500. If I'm agree, and he's always agree, he's obviously agree because he told the price. If I'm agree, so that is the market price because I'm gonna purchase that product at that particular price. So that is the market price, right? Who will agree for that? Sellers and buyers both, right? So here that's why it say decisions of different economic agents is known as price mechanism. Coordinating mechanism that combines decisions of different economic agents. දෙපැත්තේ ඉන්න දෙන්නෙක්ගේ decision එක. එතනදී දෙන්න එකතු කරමු. ගොඩක් දැන් අපි හිතන්නකො මෙහෙම. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට බයර්ස්ලා සෙලර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ අපි හිතමු කවුරුත් තුන්වෙනි පාටි එකක් එතනට මැදට පනින්නේ නැහැනේ. There's no any third party, right? Why? Because market price is there. If someone is asking for more price, someone is trying to reduce that. Ultimately, both will come to agree to one price. So that is the price mechanism. In other words, this is the mechanism that forms a smooth system for the economy. A smooth system for the economy to operate by coordinating economic decisions of producers and consumers and factor owners. Those are taken with the intention of maximizing their own material rewards. Right? That means I'm trying to, let's say I'm a seller now. I'm trying to sell my product at maximum price because that's what maximize my profit. මම බලන්නේ පුළුවන් තරම් වැඩි ගන්නට. අපි මේක හොඳ උදාහරණයක් වාහනයක් ගන්න ගියා. Right? වාහනයක් ගන්න ගියාම ඔය ikman.lk එකේ වගේ අපි හිතමු වාහනයක් ගන්න යනවා. Right? We are going to purchase a vehicle. So the owner of the vehicle is initially he puts some kind of higher price. Let's say 10 million. Right? Or here, the buyer. Let's say I'm the buyer. Someone is the buyer. No, buyer, no, not the buyer. He's the vehicle owner. He's the seller. And let's say Amal. Amal is the buyer. Initial price was 10 million. But Amal is not agreeing for that price. Amal, you know, mata එක වැඩි. Then someone is asking, what is your price? ඔයා කීයටද ගන්න කැමති? So someone will tell, Amal will tell, It's 9 million. It is 9 million. Right. මෙයා ටිකක් 1 million අඩු කරලා කියනවා. මෙයා කියනවා බෑ. ඒ ගානට බෑ. එහෙනම් මෙයා කියනවා 9.1 million. මෙයා කියනවා බෑ 9.9 million වලටවත් ගන්න. ඊළඟට මෙයා කියනවා එහෙනම් 9.4 million. මෙයා කියනවා බෑ 9.4 million නම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අඩුම මෙතනින් එහාට අඩු කරන්න කියන්න එපා 9.7 million. හරිද? එහෙනම් මෙයා කියනවා හරි 9.7 million වලට වැඩේ කරමු. නැත්නම් අපි හිතමු තව ටිකක් අදිනවා. මෙයා කියනවා හරි 9.5 දෙන්න. 9.5 වැඩේ කරමු. මෙයා කියනවා හරි 9.5. එයා කොහොමත් ලක්ෂ 5ක් වගේ වැඩි කරලානේ තිබ්බේ. අන්න දෙන්න agree වෙනවා. දෙන්න මොකද වෙන්නේ? agree වෙනවා මේ price එකට. So both parties will agree for that price. Right? Both parties will agree for that price. So that is the market price. That's why we call two parties were there. Two parties were there to satisfy their own self-interest. දෙන්න ආවේ මම තමයි අඩුවටම මම යන එක්කෙනා ගන්න යන්නේ මම අඩුවටම ගන්න. විකුණන එක්කෙනා බලන්නේ මම වැඩිපුරම විකුණනවා. අන්න දෙන්න එකතු වෙලා ඩිසයිඩ් කරනවා. හරි. මම විකුණනවා 9.5 million වලට. Initially he was trying to sell at 10 million. Initially Amal was trying to purchase this at 9 million. මිලියන 9ට ගන්න ගියේ. හැබැයි දෙන්නත් එක්ක කතා බහ වෙලා මෙන්න දෙන්න මාකට් ප්‍රයිස් එක සිලෙක්ට් කරලා තියෙනවා 9.5 million වලට. So that is the market price. Right? So this market price is the former smooth system. ඒ හින්දා තමයි ළමයි ඔය goods and service purchase වෙන system එක දිගින් දිගට smoothly ගලාගෙන යන්නේ. ඔයා කඩේට ගිහිල්ලා බිත්තරයක් ගන්න මුදලාලි බිත්තරේ කීයද රුපියල් 38යි. ඔයා ඒක අරගෙන ගෙදර එනවා. හිතන්නකෝ මෙහෙම. ඔයා කඩේට යනවා මුදලාලි කියනවා බිත්තරේ 70යි. කවුරුත් බිත්තර ගන්නෑ. No one will purchase the business. And what will happen to the mudalali? Because all the eggs will remain without selling. අන්න ඇයි කවුරුත් බිත්තර ගන්න නැත්තම් එයාට මොකද වෙන්නේ? එයා බිත්තර ටික ඔන්න එයා ගෙදර තියාගෙන ඉන්න වෙනවා. එයා බලනවා වැඩේ හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මේකේ ප්‍රයිස් එක වැඩි ඇති. ඒකයි කවුරුත් පර්චේස් කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ටික ප්‍රයිස් එක අඩු කරනවා. ඊළඟ දවසේ ඔයා යනවා මාකට් එකට. මුදලාලි කීයද බිත්තර? රුපියල් 40යි. When you agree to that price, what will happen? Transaction will smoothly happen. So to become smooth market mechanism, price should be there. ඔයා හිතන්නකෝ ඔයා විකුණනවා අපි හිතමු you are a vegetable seller, right? You have a vegetable shop, vegetable retail shop, and you put a higher price for carrot. Let's say carrot, 1 kilo of carrot is 3,000. 1 kilo, no, not that much. 1 kilo is 1 kilo of carrot is 1,000. කාලයක් ගියානේ 1,000 වලට. Consumers will come and check the price, ask the price, and put the carrot away, bring something else. වෙන මොන හරි ගන්නවා consumer ඇවිල්ලා අර ගාන වැඩි. දැන් ඔයා බලනවා මාර වැඩේ carrot ටික විකිනෙන්නේ නැහැ. So what you have to do? You have to reduce the price. Let's say a fishman, right? When it comes to a fisherman, what will happen? He can දැන් මේ පහුගිය දවස්වල ළමයි වාරකම් කාලේ කියලා කියන්නේ. වාරකම් mean some kind of natural change. So මාළු ඇල්ලෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? ඒ කාලේට මාළු අඩුයි. So fishermen do what? Fisherman is going to, oh, those fishermen going to the market, ඒගොල්ලෝ අල්ලපු මාළුත් එක market එකට යනවා. When they sell the product, they can identify there is a instant demand, right? ගෙනිච්ච ගමන් මාළු ටික ඉවරයි, right? 1 kilogram, let's say 1 kilogram was, the price was selected as 1000 rupees. මාළු කිලෝ එකට 1000 කියලා හිතලා ගෙනිච්චා, මෙන්න එකපාරටම මාළු ටික ඉවරයි. දැන් ඊළඟ දවසේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට විකුණන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ බලනවා මේකේ price එක අඩු ඇති. එහෙනම් මොකද කරන්නේ? 1 kilogram is 2000 කියලා ඔන්න විකුණනවා. ඔන්න ටික වෙලාවක් යද්දි මොකද වෙන්නේ? ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එක සෙල් කරනවා. ඒත් මේගොල්ලන්ට හිතනවා ඊට පස්සේ හවුස් එකට කට්ටිය ඇවිල්ලා ටික වෙලාවක් ඔන්න දවල් වෙද්දි ඉවරයි. ඊට පස්සේ හවුස් එකට අහනවා මාළු නැද්ද? හොටෙල්ස් වලින් කෝල් කරලා අහනවා අපිට මාළු ටිකක් ගන්න නැද්ද? කිලෝ එකට 2500ක් දෙන්නම්, 3000ක් දෙන්නම්. ඔය වගේ වැඩි ප්‍රයිස් එකක් දෙන්නම් කියලා කියනවා. හරිද? දැන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? වැඩි ප්‍රයිස් එකක් දෙන්නම් කියලා කිව්වම මේගොල්ලන්ට හිතනවා මාළු වලට හොඳ ඩිමාන්ඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඇත්තටම ළමයි ඔය තෝර මාළු, කටු නැති මාළු තියෙන්නේ, right? තලපත්, කෙලවල්ලා තෝර මාළු. It has a huge demand. Why? Because most of foreigners, most of tourists are prefer to eat those products. I කටු නෑනේ. ඔය සාලයා ඊට පස්සේ අපි හිතමු හාල් මැස්සෝ ඒවයි කටුන් ළමයි, they don't like that, right? So they like more whatever the තෝර මාළු, කෙලවල්ලා and තලපත්, right? So the fisherman can see a higher demand for those three products, and there are more. Then they do what? 2500ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වනේ. හරි. එහෙනම් ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා right. So 1 kilogram of one, initially it was 1000, but they identify there's a lack of fish, right? Market එකේ fish වල අඩුවක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් අපිට හොඳ මිලක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. hotels වලින් 2500 ඉල්ලනවා. එහෙනම් මේගොල්ලෝ කියනවා හරි. 1 kilo of fish is 3000. Still, products are being sold. Why? Because there's a deficit of the product in the market. Market එකේ හොයාගන්න නැත්නම් අපිට වැඩි ගාණක් දීලා ගන්න වෙනවා. මතකද පෙට්‍රල් හිඟ දවස්වල පෙට්‍රල් අර පෝලෙන් තිබ්බ දවස්වල පෙට්‍රල් ලීටරේ මම ගත්තා 1500ට ගත්තා ලීටරේ. ලීටරයක් 1500කට ගත්තා. 2000ට ගත්තා. Why? Because if there is lack of production, right? If there is what we call deficit of that production, the price will goes up. If there is excess, වැඩියෙන් තියෙනවා නම් price will come down, right? So price is a smooth thing which determine through the market demand and supply. හරිද? ළමයි බලන්න පහුගිය දවස්වල දියුල් වලට හොඳ මාකට් එකක් තිබ්බා. එහෙනම් දියුල් වලට හොඳ මාකට් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අන්න දියුල් වල ප්‍රයිස් එක අඩුයි. right? ඔය පළතුරු වාරේ තියෙන්නේ දියුල් වාරේ, ඊට පස්සේ රඹුටන් වාරේ, ආපහු අඹ වාරේ එද්දි සීසන් එකෙද්දි ප්‍රයිස් එක අඩුයි. ඇයි? ගොඩාක් කල්ටිවේෂන් එක තියෙනවා. crops ගොඩාක් මාකට් එකේ තියෙනවා. විකුණ ගන්න නම් ප්‍රයිස් එක මොනා කරන්න වෙනවද? they have to drop the price. Otherwise the product will remain with them. product ටික ඉතුරුනායින් පස්සේ වැඩක් නැහැ නේ, කුණු වෙලා යනවනේ. විකුණන්න බෑ. then what do they do? The price will reduce. But when it comes to excess deficit, market එකේ නෑ හොයාගන්න good එක. හරිද? අපි හිතමු මොකක් හරි බෙහෙත් එකක් තියෙනවා, ඒක නෑ market එකේ හොයාගන්න. ඒක ඔයාලට ගන්නත් ඕනේ, ගොඩක් ඒක demand එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඒකේ price එක වැඩි. හරිද? ඔයා හිතන්නකෝ මොකක් හරි හොඳ product එකක් වැඩි ඒ market එකේ නැහැ. ඒකේ price එක ගොඩක් ගණන් දීලා තමයි අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ. Why? Because market price is determined. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අගාවුඩ් කියලා එකක් අහලා තියෙනවද? අගාවුඩ් කියලා තියෙනවා මේ ඔය අපි කියන්නේ සිංහලෙන් වල්ල පට්ට. හරිද? සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ වල්ල පට්ට අගාවුඩ් කියලා තියෙනවා perfume. ඊට පස්සේ ඔය හඳුන් කුරු එහෙම හදනවා හඳුන් කුරු පැකට් එකක් රුපියල් 4000යි. හරිද? අගාවුඩ් වලින් හදන හඳුන් කුරු පැකට් එක රුපියල් 4000යි 4500යි. perfume එක at least perfume is kind of 25000 above. ඇයි? ඒ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හරි ළමයි හොයාගන්න නෑ. දැන් නම් ඔය කුමාර ධර්මසේන ඊට පස්සේ තැන් ඔය පින්තැන්න ප්ලාන්ටේෂන් මම හිතන්නේ ධර්මසේනගේ කවුද මේ අම්පයර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ පින්තැන්න ප්ලාන්ටේෂන් ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු තව ඔය කීපයක් තියෙනවා ප්ලාන්ටේෂන් දැන් ඒවා වගා කරනවා but still the plantation is at a very higher price because it is rare, right? It is rare. So that's the thing we call price. Price is determined based on demand and supply, right? When it comes to factor market එකට බලන්නකෝ ළමයි. When it comes to factor market for some professions අපි ගත්තොත් chartered accountant කෙනෙක් degree එකක් කරලා masters කරලා in labor කෙනෙක් හරිද manager, let's say manager, right? Those people have kind of higher salary, right, with compared to common laborers. Hey, lamai drivers la, machine operators la, right, low ground level workers la godak inno ඕන තරම් ඉන්න හොයා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ හින්දා ඕන තරම් ඉන්නවා නම් ළමයි අපි ලොකු ගාණක් ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට monthly 50000 100,000 between 50 to 100,000 may monthly. But when it comes to chartered accountant, හැමතැනම chartered accountants ලා නැහැ. When it comes to qualified managers, when it comes to engineers, doctors, specialists, හැමතැනම නැහැ නේ ළමයි. So what will happen? Production firms are trying to grab them by paying huge salary. Maybe some workers, some managers, they earn 1 million per month, right? Some engineers, some chartered accountants, some doctors, more than 1 million, 2 million, that would be there, right? So why? Because price mechanism. Price is determined based on demand and supply, right? So price mechanism is based on demand and supply. Demand. If one product is more demand, right? If one product is demand more, so the price will increase. If one product is demand less, කවුරුත් එක ගණන් ගන්නෑ. So price do not get increased. Price will reduce. If one product is supply more, වැඩියෙන් supply කරනවා market එකේ ඇති වෙන්න තියෙනවා නම් price will be reduced. If one product is supply less, supply more, and now supply more, price is less. Supply less, price is more. Examples ටිකක් කියාගෙන යමු බලන්න. හොඳ demand එකක් තියෙන price එක වැඩි gold. හොඳට demand එක තියෙනවා ළම. gold. demand එකත් වැඩි, price එකත් වැඩි. ඊළඟට demand එක අඩුයි. ඒ හින්දා price එක අඩුයි. අපි හිතමු sand. sand ගත්තොත් වැලි. නැත්තම් again compare to gold, right? Compare to gold. නැත්තම් sand එක අපි අයින් කරමු වෙන මොකක් හරි demand එක අඩු. Let's say විදාමු මේකටම relevant එකක්. imitation නේ වට demand එක අඩුයිනේ. So imitation jewelries price also less. ඇයි? ඉතින් හොඳට demand එකක් තියෙන gold වලට. ඊට පස්සේ නැත්තම් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් මොනවාද? metal yakada, right? Metal වලට comparatively price එක අඩුයි. ඊළඟ supply. Supply, if the supply is more, price will be less. Example, mango. දැන් මේ දවස්වල mango season එක. season එක මැද හරිය වෙද්දි prices ගොඩක් අඩුයි. season එක මුල් කාලේ ටිකක් වැඩි වෙනවා. ඇයි? තාම බඩු ඇවිල්ලා නැහැනේ ගොඩක්. Right? So the price will kind of higher price. When the middle of the season, ඔක්කොම ටික market එකට ආවයින් පස්සේ then the price will be reduced. And if supply is reduced, අපි හිතමු tuna fish supply and gems වල ළමයි supply එක අපිට කැමති විදිහට ගන්න බෑනේ. මැණික් හම්බුනොත් තමයි පතල් හැරුවා කියලා මැණික් හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. පතල හාරලා ඒක ලක් එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එතන හරියට බඩු තියෙන්න ඕනේ, right? So gems there's a relative less price, so gems have a higher price. So that is what we call price mechanism, right? So here, in other words, this is the mechanism that forms a smooth system for the economy to operate by coordinating economic decisions of producers, consumers, and factor owners. Those are taken with the intention of maximizing their own material reward. තම තමන්ගේ material reward maximization කරන්න හැදුවත් price mechanism එකෙන් දෙන්නව මොකද කරන්නේ? දෙන්නව combine කරලා smooth flow එකක් දෙන්නව agree වෙන තැනකට ඒක අරන් එනවා. That is the price mechanism. දෙන්න බලන්නේ එක්කෙනෙක් බලන්නේ price එක maximize කරන්න, අනිත් එක්කෙනා බලන්නේ අඩුවට ගන්න. වල දෙන්න කොහොම හරි negotiate කළා හරියටම එක තැනකට එනවා, දෙන්න agree වෙනවා. එතනදී තමයි price mechanism කියලා අපි ගන්න. Since this coordinates individual decisions of large number of consumers, producers, and factor owners and creates smooth flow, this system is known as invisible hand. Lamai, why it is called invisible hand? Because we can't see the price. We can see the decisions of the buyers and sellers, but we can't see the price. They will agree to price, but the price we can't see that. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නකෝ දෙන්නෙක් රණ්ඩු වෙනවා. Two parties are getting fight, right? Two parties are fighting, so someone will intervene. දැන් ඔය ඉස්කෝලේ දෙන්නෙක් රණ්ඩු වෙනවා නම් ඔන්න ටීචර් ඇවිල්ලා දෙන්නටම පාරවල් දෙකක් දීලා දෙන්නම ආපහු යාළු කරවලා sort out කරනවා. අන්න ටීචර් අපි දැක්කා. If someone asks who sort out the fight between Saman and Saman Mali, or Amal and Kamal, or whatever the two parties, it would be teacher. Teacher tamai avilla dennaw sort out kare. But who sort out the conflicted decisions of buyers and sellers? Right? Who sort out the conflicted decision of buyers and sellers? It is price. Price was intervene. Right? Who sort out? I was going to purchase goods and someone was selling goods. Who sort out our conflict? It is price. So that's what we call invisible hand. Right? Right. So that is the who sort out. අපි දන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි විකුණන එක්කෙනාව අපි දන්නෙත් නැහැ. විකුණන එක්කෙනාව අපිව දන්නෙත් නැහැ. එහෙනම් කවුද මේ අපි දෙන්නව ගිහිල්ලා හරියට කනෙක්ට් කරන්නේ? That is the invisible hand, the price. So why price is called invisible hand? Because it coordinates individual decisions of large number of consumers and large number of producers and factor owners and creates a smooth flow. කවුරු හරි ඇහුවොත් අහනවා ළමයි අහනවා විභාගෙදී අහනවා. Why price is identified the invisible hand in a market economy? So the answer is this. Since this coordinate individual decisions of large number of consumers, producers, and factor owners and create smooth flow, then that's why it is called invisible hand, right? Okay. Right. Here. Roles of price in market economy. Also we call functions. Functions කියලා දාගන්න. Functions. So here මෙතන දාගන්න function කියලා දාගන්න. The signaling function, incentive function, rationing function. Signaling function we call informative function as well. Informative function. Incentive function and rationing function. Right? So these are the three functions of price. What price do? මොකද අපිට price එක කරන්නේ? When we going to purchase something, we look at the price and get an information. අපි දැනුවත් වෙනවා ඒ ගැනනේ. මොකක් හරි ගන්න යනවා. This pen drive is how much? Let's say 1,000. Even though you purchased or not, still you got the information, right? Price provides signal to consumers and producers and all the economic agents, right? If you are going, when you are going to start a computer shop, computer shop before that, you need to visit some computer stores and look at the prices, right? Business idea we need the idea, because otherwise it would be fail for our that newly started business can be failed, right? So we need to get information. The hard drive i5 laptop i9 let's say i8 or i9 the price range, right? Does say the mobile phones mobile phones the profit margin right? We get an idea. So what we call the signaling function or informative function. Second one, the incentive function. What does mean incentive function? Let's say I am cultivating both turmeric and ginger. Mama kahat waga karanawa ingurut waga karanawa. I can see the price of turmeric getting increased more than ginger. Inguru walta vada turmeric price එක හොඳට නැගගෙන යනවා. So what do? I prefer to cultivate more turmeric than ginger, right? I'm trying to cultivate more turmeric and less ginger, right? So I'm encouraging to cultivate what? Turmeric. So that encouraging to cultivate turmeric and discouraging to cultivate ginger. Mama ginger production එක චුට්ටක් අඩු කරලා turmeric පැත්තට පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි වෙන්න යනවා. Then what will happen? That is the incentive function, right? Because I'm encouraging and discouraging. So next one, the rationing function. Rationing function means then I was encouraged to cultivate more turmeric. Then I allocate my resources. To more resources for the turmeric and less for the ginger. That allocation of resources mean rationing function. So each of them are interrelated. We'll see. Initially, if I am the farmer, I'm the farmer, right? Who cultivate turmeric and ginger. Or before, right? Before I'll start farming, I need to get an idea about turmeric price. I will put T and G only because otherwise it would take time. T and G, right? I'm getting an idea about turmeric price and ginger price, right? Why? Because that is the signaling function. Let's say turmeric price, I don't know what is the exact price, but anyway, turmeric price is 500 per kilo. 500 per kg. Ginger price is both was at same price, right? 500 per kg. So I got the information. And then after 1 month or few months, I started cultivation and I can see, so initially what do? I allocate my resources. Half of my resources were for the turmeric, half of my resources for the ginger, right? Then I can see the price of turmeric. Price of turmeric was 750 per kilogram. 750 per kg. And ginger was remain unchanged, 500 per kg. Kilogram. So I can see, I got an information. Turmeric is now more profitable. That is the informative function. මේක දැක්කම මෝඩෙක් නෙමෙයි නම් කල්ටිවේටර් එයාට තේරෙන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න turmeric වල price එක වැඩි වෙලා. So turmeric is now more profitable than ginger. That is the අපේ ඔළුවට යන එක, right? ඔළුවට යන information එක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ informative function. Right? Then what do? Then I'm encouraged to produce more turmeric. I decide, my decision is cultivate more turmeric, cultivate less ginger. Cultivate more turmeric and cultivate less ginger. That is what we call, our decision is incentive function. Incentive, encourage or discourage. Here, encourage for turmeric, discourage for ginger, right? Initially, I got the information. Then I make my decision. After that, I'm going to perform that decision. So, what will I do? Allocate more resources to turmeric. And allocate less resources to ginger. Let's say here. Previously half and the 50% and 50%. Then now what I need to do? I allocate more resources on turmeric. More land, more labor, more capital, and more in entrepreneurship on turmeric. And less resources for ginger. Ginger වලට තියෙන ටිකක් අඩු කරනවා. මොකද ginger වල the profit margin of ginger with compared to turmeric is kind of lower. So what should I do? I need to reduce that turmeric production and increase. I need to reduce the ginger production and increase turmeric production. Right? That is my ultimate decision. So what do, let's revise again. Initially, informative function. I got the information that turmeric price has been increased more than ginger. So that was the informative function. And then I decide to produce more turmeric and less ginger. That is my incentive function. And then I perform the decision. I allocate more resources to turmeric while allocating less resources to ginger. So that's my allocating decision, or we call it rationing function. Rationing function. Got it? So those are the three functions of price. But keep in mind, even though there are three separate reasons, those are three separate functions. Those are interrelated to each other. It starts from the informative, and then it's at the middle stage, it becomes incentive, and the last stage, it is allocative or rationing function. We'll see. The signaling function. Price provides signal or information for the economic agent to make their economic decisions to producers, right? Initially to producers, but also for the consumers and factor owners both. But initially we identify important thing is to producers. We'll read. Producers will be informed as what product should be produced in what quantity based on the price signals. These signals indicate the profit that can be obtained by supplying different products, right? So this is to the producers. Producers la මොකද කරන්නේ? දැන් අපි ගත්තනේ idea එක මේ example එක. They select what should be produced in what quantities based on price signals. Right? These signals indicate the profit that can be obtained by supplying different product. Indicate the profit. Indicate the profit of different products. Because price signals give the profit margin. Price එක දිහා බලලා තමයි ඒකෙන් තමයි අපි profit එක අඳුරගන්නේ. ඇයි? Because we need the price and cost both to compare the profit, right? To identify the profit, we need to compare what is the cost of production and then what is the price. So the gap between cost of production and price is the profit margin. So we need to look at the price to identify the profit, right? Then to consumers. Consumers are for us. What do the price do? Because I told you that we look at the price and we decide whether to purchase or not. ඇඳුමක් ගන්න ගියා අම්මෝ ඇඳුම රුපියල් 5500යි. We put it from somewhere else and we move away, right? And we look at another piece of cloth, right? So that's what do we usually do. අපි ගන්න ගියාම price එක බලලා මේක වැඩිද අඩුද කියලා determine කර. හරිද? සපත්යක් ගන්න යනවා රුපියල් 40000යි නෑ ඕන්නේ නෑ. Right? 10000යි. වාට affordable now, then you will purchase, right? We'll see. For consumers, will be informed as what product should be purchased in what quantities based on the price signals. These signals provide consumers to choose the products that maximize their utility. තමන්ට වෙලේ හම්බෙන satisfaction එක වැඩි නම් ඉතින් අර 40000 product එක උනත් ගන්නවා. Because if you have that kind of urgency and that if you can affordable the product, so according to your income and affordability, you will purchase the 40,000 shoes as well, right? Anyhow, it is based on the customer. customer බලන්නේ එයාගේ satisfaction එක utility එක maximize කරගන්න. Important, if price signals an inaccurate හදිසියවත් ළමයි වැරදි price එකක් දාලා තිබ්බොත් අපි එතනදී market mechanism එක collapse වෙනවා. හරිද? හිතන්නකො වැරදි price එකක් දාලා තියෙන. නැත්නම් දාලා තියෙන price එකට නෙමෙයි විකුණන්නේ. So the market mechanism will be collapsed. The buyers and sellers are getting fight each other, right? They are fighting because if you have put this price, you need to sell that price, not for the other price, right? But still, if there is a discount, so customer will happy, but the price was increased, that would be a problem. Right. Next one, incentive function. So is there anything to write down? We'll see. No, not for this one. You just need to write down the topic of next function. Write down incentive function. There is a dotted line. So on that dotted line, write down incentive function. The incentive function. You can't see here the topic was given, but it's not clear, I think. The incentive function. Next one, incentive function based on the information. අපේ ඔළුවට ගිය informations වලට based වෙලා තමයි අපි මේක කරන්නේ. Based on information provided by price signals, it creates an encouragement for the economic agents act accordingly. Right? This encouragement we call incentive. This encouragement or incentive is required for consumers and producers to react promptly to market changes which creates an efficient market mechanism. This is not necessary. Market changes which creates an efficient market. Yeah, you can cut this word. This is not necessary. Right? So this encouragement, which encouragement? Based on the information, maybe we encourage, maybe we discourage. It is required for consumers and producers to react promptly. නිවැරදි ආකාරයට හරියට react කරන්න නම්, respond කරන්න නම් මේ information එකට අපි sensitive වෙන්න ඕනේ. We need to sensitive for the information. Sensitive mean අපි මේ information එක වෙනස් වුණාම අපේ decision එකත් වෙනස් කරගන්න ඕනේ. That's the incentive function. Required for the consumers and producers to react promptly to market changes, which creates an efficient market mechanism. Market mechanism එක efficiently perform වෙන්න නම් ළමයි අපි price signals වලට sensitive වෙන්න ඕනේ. We need to respond for those price signals. Right, so that is the incentive function. The reaction or the change in decision, discouraging or encouraging based on the market price changes. Then to producers, we'll see. For producers, here, if the market price was increased, price එක වැඩි වුණොත් මොකද ළමයි අපි කරන්නේ? Increase the profit that can be earned. Price එක, if the price was increased than previous, right? If the price is increased than previous, so the profit is now the profit margin is high. We got that information. The profit is high. right? We can earn large profit. Then what do? We encourage to produce more. That is we increase production. We decide right here, decide to increase production, right? And then what happened if the price was reduced? Here we have to fill this one, right? So the opposite of this phrase here, increase in price of a particular good, you need to write down decrease in price of a particular good. Decrease the price of particular good. When the price was decreased, we can see the profit margin also decrease. Write down the same phrase with the opposite word, decrease. Decrease the profit that can be earned. Decrease the profit margin. And here, decide to increase the production. Here, decide to decrease the production. Decide to decrease the production. Right? Write down that one. Right? Then, for the consumers, increase in price of a particular good, then as consumers, what we decide? When price of product, when the price of product is getting increased, that we realize this is now expensive than previous. Kalinට වඩා මේක ගාන වැඩි. So what should I do? Reduce the consumption, right? If the price was increased, this is expensive now, so I will reduce the consumption. Increase in price of a particular good, increase in consumption expenditure, because my consumption expenditure was increased, now it is more expensive. So what should I do? Decrease the consumption, right? And when it comes to decrease in price, write down the opposite word in here. Decrease in price of particular good. Write down the full phrase, not only this one, because I'm not writing again all the things, but you need to write it down. So then, increase in consumption expenditure here, decrease in price, decrease in consumption expenditure. And then increasing consumption. right? So as consumers, we can determine or decide to here. Decide to කියලා තිබ්බත් හොඳයි because still we didn't perform the decision. Still decide to decrease the consumption, decide to increase the consumption in the second part, right? So that's what consumers do, right? This is for your knowledge, right? No need to write down this for the examination, but still for your knowledge. Or even though if you write down this for the examination, don't put boxes and arrows, right? It is as a sentence, right? Sentence එකක් විදියට ලියන්න arrows විදියට දාලා හැම short note අඳින්න නෑ අපි exam එකේදී. That's only for study purpose, for your knowledge, right? Next one, rationing function, the last one, rationing function, right? Based on price signals and the incentive provided by the price, here there should be a comma, right? Here should be a comma. Based on price signals and the incentive provided by the price, economic agents allocate scarce resources among competing goods and services. This is the rationing function. Here, allocate scarce resources among competing goods and services based on price signal and incentive provided. Highlight it, and you need to study those phrase. Why? Because that is the rationing function. Keep in mind, when it comes to informative function or signaling function, you can explain it is the information that I received, right? So informative function means providing information to economic agents. And then incentive function is encouraging or discouraging economic agents. And rationing function is allocating scarce resources based on price based on price signals. Allocating scarce resources based on price signals. That is the rationing function. For the market mechanism to operate efficiently, economic agents should respond to the price signals and price incentives and distribute scarce resources promptly in between goods and services, right? ළමයි හරියට market ටික perform වෙන්න නම්, if the market should efficiently perform, consumers and producers and all the economic agents should sensitive to the price mechanism. හරිද? මේ price එකට sensitive වෙන්න ඕනේ, right? For the market mechanism to operate efficiently, economic agents should respond to the price signals and price incentive and distribute scarce resources promptly in between goods. Right. Hari. Example. There was an example given. Imagine product A and B can produce. Remember the turmeric and ginger example, right? Same one is here. Imagine product A and B can produce by employing same set of factors of production, and consumers prefer now B over A. Thus, resources will be reallocated to 8 kilo, it should be B, right? It should be B. Resources will be reallocated to B by extracting from A. And A වල price එක වැඩි වුණා, B වල price එක අඩු වුණා. So what should I do? I need to extract, I need to reduce resources from the B, right? Here, which one was increased? Same set of factors. B over the resource will be reallocated to B by extracting from A based on price signals and price incentives. Still, they wasn't mentioned that the price of A was increased. First, they mentioned, imagine product A and B can be produced by employing same set of factors of production and consumers prefer now. Here, consumers prefer now B over A. Lamai, I told you when consumer prefer some good more and more, the price of that good will be increased, right? As you can remember here. If consumer prefer, lamai consumer prefer kiyanne, so the demand would be getting increased, right? So here the demand is getting increased. So what will happen? Price also getting increased. So if they told you that the consumer preference now, consumer now prefer for B than A, so you need to realize the price of B also getting increased. As a result of that, what we should do, what the producers should do, producers need to more allocate their resources to produce more B, right? Produce large quantity of B by reducing A production. We'll see here. Resources will be reallocated to B. B වලට වැඩිපුර allocate කරනවා by extracting A වලින් resources අඩු කරනවා. That's why it called extracting resources from A based on price signals and price incentives, right? So it can be seen as this, right? Decrease demand of A and increase demand for B. Decrease demand for A and increase demand for B. Price of A falls, price of B rises. So with compared to A, price of B has increased. Profit expectation of A falls. When price reduce, profit also getting reduced. We know that because according to informative and incentive function, we know when the profit margin is, when the price is getting reduced, profit margin also getting reduced, right? So what, as a sensitive producer, right? As a sensitive producer, what should I do? I need to reduce the production of A, right? Then resources will allocate from A to B. Why? Because at the same time, when I'm getting reduced the production of A, at the same time, what did I do? I increase the production of B. Why? Because now B has comparatively higher price. Now B has comparatively higher price. As a result of that, my profit expectation for B has increased. So what did I do? මම මොකද කරේ ළමයි? මම A වල production එක අඩු කළා. At the same time, I increase the production of B. Right? A වල production එක අඩු කළා. B වල production එක වැඩි කරා. So that is what I call, what we identified in here, resource allocative function, right? Resource allocative function. Write down this one. I think you have to fill the blanks. Oh no, it was given. Right then, Then solving basic economic problems in free market economy, right? All these basic economics problem through what? Problems are solved through what? Price mechanism, right? In market economy, market this is a free market. Market is free market. So no one will intervene to the market except buyers and sellers. Only buyers and sellers interact, but no one, no third party like government will not intervene to the market. There's no any restrictions. There's no any limited price. There's no any gazette to increase or decrease prices, right? So that is free market. In market economy, basic economic problems are solved through the price mechanism. That's a kind of separate area because we have to identify three kind of basic economic problems and how to solve them through the price mechanism. But that one we can conduct in next week. But before that, again, we have to revise what we studied earlier, right, today. Okay, let's revise. What did we do? Right, we identified initially what is a market. What is a market? Right. What's a market? It's a space or place which buyers and sellers meet each other to perform a transaction on a consideration. Right? මොකක් හරි consideration එකකට transaction එකක් කරන්න buyers लाई sellers लाई meet වෙන තැන. So that is a market. And there were two types of market. What are those two types of markets? First one, goods market. Goods market. Who was the sellers? Sellers in goods market were production firms. And buyers was us. That means household. Right? Household was the buyers. Buyer here, household. Right? So that was the goods market. And the other market was factor market. Who were the sellers? Here, sellers were household. The household was the sellers. Right? Household means families, right? Families who living under one roof with sharing and caring, right? That is a household. And then buyers who buy the production factors, those were business firms. Right? What were the factor here? Goods and service, we know there are so many goods and service, no need to identify what are the goods and service sold in goods market, because every goods that you can see around your house, every good was purchased through the goods and service market. But this is kind of not familiar to us. So what were the factors? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Right? So here, from the goods and service market, what we identified, the price of the goods. Here, firms do the supply and household demand. Based on that, what was decided? Price and quantity. Price and quantity were decided, right? So then when it comes to factor market, it based on factor demand by firms and factor supply by suppliers, it was determined price of the factor price and the quantity, right? So then we identified about these price. Then we talk about these prices, right? We call it as price mechanism. Price mechanism. The price mechanism is the price which was determined based on demand and supply on goods and service market and factor market. And then we identified three functions of price. Three functions of price. Three functions. What were the three functions? First one, informative function. Informative function. What was it? Right? It was providing signals, informative or signal function. So that was providing information. Providing information providing information to make decisions, right? To make decisions. That was the informative function. Then incentive function. Incentive function. Based on that information, economic agents will be encouraged වෙනවා, discourage or discourage වෙනවා, right? Encourage or discourage to their economic activities. When the price was increased, producers get encouraged while consumer getting discouraged. When the price decrease, producers will discourage consumers getting encouraged, right? Price එක වැඩි වුණොත් ළමයි consumers ලට පාඩුයි, so they will discourage. And at the same time, sellers, producers will encourage, right? So last one, based on information and decisions, right? That means based on informative and incentive function, the allocative function or we call rationing function, right? Rationing function. So here allocative function or rationing function means allocating scarce resources between goods and services. Between goods and services. Based on information and incentives, right? So actually this is a tiny summary sheet what we discussed on today, right? We identify what are the markets, but it is not much familiar with the exam because actually with the past few papers, we can't take any questions from this part, actually, from the market part, because that's a simple one. That's a simple clarification. But when it comes to these three mechanisms, it would be highly examinable, right? So informative function, they always asking, but not much, right? No need to study all the things because it was for your your knowledge, not for the exam. Actually, they are asking, this is for only 3 or 4 marks, right? So what are the function? They are asking what are the functions of price and elaborate them. So not like explain them, because they are just, you have to explain them with a 1 or 2 sentences, maximum 3 sentences. No need, no, not more than that, right? So read those things, right? Study again and again, because when you read again and again, it will keep on your mind. Otherwise you will forget it, right? Even though you read and study one time, it's not enough. Actually, at least once a month or twice a month, you need to recurring it again and again, because otherwise this huge syllabus will be forgotten, right, at the end. Because initially this is kind of similar or simple one, right? Simple things, because when it comes to at the end of the exam, after 1 year, it would be like there is kind of huge notes, right? There are more notes, and so you have to focus many areas. Then it would be complicated. Now it's like simple, because these are initial lessons. So however, lamai, my point is, you need to study more, right? දැන් ඉඳන්ම හොඳට පාඩම් කරන්න. පාඩම් කරනවා කියන්නේ මේ එනගේමක් දීලා ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න මේ කියව ගන්න ෂෝට් නෝට් එකක් හදන්න, පේපර්ස් කරන්න. so automatically ඔළුවේ තියෙයි, right? අර එකපාරම ඔළුවට මෙහෙම පත්තියම් කරගන්න, ඔළුව උඩ තියාගන්න බලන්න එපා. මොනවා හරි ඇක්ටිවිටීස් කරන්න. මුලින්ම දෙපාරක් කියව ගන්න. හරිද? දෙපාරක් තුන් පාරක් කියව ගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ කියවපු එකේ ෂෝට් නෝට් එකක් ගහන්න. ආපහු ඊට පස්සේ පේපර් එකක් කරන්න. that's how you study. නැත්නම් එකපාරම මේ කියවුවා මතක තියාගත්තා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ computers නෙමෙයිනේ, right? හරි. එහෙනම් we'll wind up the session for now. And if there is any extra class on this vacation, because this is the vacation, no, I will inform you through the group, right? Then study hard until next class. Have a nice day. So here, not the day. Good night, right?